Hello, welcome to the match reaction here on Latte Firm. Tuesday, the 4th of November, and Arsenal have gone away to Slavia Prague and won by 3-0, 10 wins on the bounce, and we've matched a 122-year-old club record with clean sheets. Now, you might be wondering, there's two people on a match reaction. I'm delighted to be joined by Yembele, predominantly because I was working like so many hard workers around the UK. I missed the entire first half and I wouldn't know what to say. So, Yembele, how are you, my man?
I'm good, mate. How are you? I know you tried your hardest to try and get it somewhere, right?
I tried. Honestly, it was so. I went to work early. I had a really long day at work. And I actually left quite early and realised I'd forgotten something back at the office. And by the time I got back to St Paul's Tube, Central Line was absolutely disgusting, like so busy. 3 trains had to go past before I could get on. And
Life
then I got home
conspired
and
against you.
I know, honestly, it just wasn't meant to be. And then the second half sort of kicked off as I walked in. So welcome
Well,
to
at
the
least you
show.
got to see
Yeah,
some goals. You saw some goals at least.
I did. Well, apparently the first half was nothing to write home about. So I saw most of the second half, and the first half wasn't anything to write home about. And then, of course, I watched the dreadful match that we've just seen at Anfield. But we'll talk about everything later. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and watching tonight. If you are tuning in for the first time and you enjoy the content, please do subscribe. Thanks also for everybody watching the shows that we've been doing over the last 3-4 days. Really popular. The timeline is popping and the channel feed is booming. Let's go straight to the chat. Welcome, everybody. Keep the chat active. Jeffrey was first in the house saying good evening. Lucio's here as well. And JCF, exactly what we were just saying. Madrid looked poor. If we played them, it would be another battering. I mean, the state of these Liverpool fans celebrating such a fortunate 1-0 lead at home against a team that we twatted 5-1. Cute, I'd say. V Vlad says, Mikel Merinaldo Nazario. That is all. Mate, you just can't beat this guy. Trossard and Marino. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. But hey, people are happy. Oh, Mikel Marino. Welcome, Dave. Welcome to Karen as well. Louis, nice rest for Calafiori, Zubimendi, and Eze. I am a little bit nervous about the injury pilot that we're having with regards to our attackers, but we'll come on to that in just a moment. How bad are Madrid, says Robert. My goodness. Indeed. Hasta says, all my thoughts at this terrible time for clickbait TV and all the rant channels. Arsenal are just so brilliant. Love this team every second since the 89-90 season. Come on, you Gunners. Evening to everybody. Rudy's here saying the quadruple is on, one game at a time, but it might just be on. Keep the chat active. I will get through as many chat as we can. What's your immediate reaction? So we've gone away in the Champions League, game week 4. We were top very temporarily because of the early kickoffs. I need to check out the standings again, but 4 wins on the bounce in the Champions League, 10 wins on the bounce in all competitions, clean sheets galore, a new club, or leveling an old club record, that spans over 122 years. It's looking good, Brev.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, 4 wins out of 4 in the Champions League. As you said, we were top of the table. I don't know where we are at the moment, but I'd assume we're still pretty high. I mean, it can't be anything but positive, because if you look at the injury situation as well, we went with our makeshift striker from last year, who we did not think would actually re-emerge as a makeshift striker, but here we are again. It seems we love a bit of it. So obviously it was a bit of a blow when Victor Gyökeres was ruled out with injury, and obviously people were doomsaying. But again, you're going away to the Czech Republic, and Slavia Prague actually put in a very good performance. I thought actually they I don't think they caused us problems necessarily, but they took it to us in terms of, for the first half, we were pretty uncomfortable, and that's to be expected when you're in the Czech Republic. It's a hostile atmosphere. It was a hostile atmosphere. I don't know if you saw it in the second half, but obviously a prerequisite of, if you're a fan of Slavia Prague, is you've got to be able to accept that you're going to get cold and be half naked at some point, because that's just what it is.
Yeah, I kind of walked in and I saw obviously the fans in the stands with their tops off, and Laura and I did the match preview show yesterday, which was hugely popular, and we were talking about how the stadium has a capacity of 19,300, and we knew it was going to be intimidating because they're a good team domestically. They're unbeaten at home in over a year, and They are the current Czech champions, and they're flying unbeaten this season in their domestic competition. But of course, we've played them 4 times before. They've never beaten us, and I didn't expect them to win tonight. So really pleased that Arsenal got the 3 points. Rob says, big up FK and Yem. It's time we give Mourinho the respect he deserves and continues to earn. I absolutely love what Mourinho is doing in his output. My struggle is that I can't define what he is, and maybe I don't need to define. Maybe I should just quit defining. Maybe I should.
It's like Calafiori. These are people that live in a different stratosphere. Just incidentally, we are second. We are second in the Champions League. Bayern are first, purely on. I don't know what it is.
Must be goal difference.
No, we're the same goal difference.
Oh.
Goals scored. They've scored more goals.
Okay, well, there you go. Viva says Mourinho and Calafiori are 2 of the most confusing players I've ever seen. What even are they? But I love it either way. Let's start with the starting lineup. So bring up the slides. Here we go. Courtesy of Arsenal.com. And we'll talk about the pile-up of injuries on the right-hand side in just a moment. But this was the team. And I got to be honest, Laura and I expected some changes last night. We wouldn't have played the likes of Rice and Gabriel, but I think we all know that Mikel Arteta is going to Arteta, and it's serious. We need to win these games early doors because you want to finish in that top 8 to avoid the knockout round. You want to finish as high up as you can so you can play the second leg at home, and also you want to finish nice and high, nice and early, get qualified, so you might even be able to put your feet up in 1 or 2 games later on in the league stage. So this was our lineup. Raya in goal. Timber played at right back. I thought Ben White would start. Saliba, Gabriel are 2 defenders at the back, but Piero Hincapié coming in for his first start for Arsenal. Declan Rice in midfield, joined by Christian Norgard because obviously Zubimendi wasn't able to play today. Ethan Nwaneri coming in for Eze, who came on as a substitute. Bukayo Saka, who got us going. We'll talk about the goals later, and Trossard on the other side with Mikel Merino up top. And the reason why Mikel Merino up top is because we have this pile-up of injuries in the final third. Victor Gyökeres with a soft tissue injury, apparently set to be back after the international break, which means Mikel Merino should probably play at the Stadium of Light this Saturday. Gabby Jesus with his knee injury, Kai Havertz with his knee injury, Noni Madueke with his knee injury, Martin Odegaard with his knee injury, and Gabby Martinelli, of course, with his groin strain. It's quite a frightening thing on the one hand for rival fans to be looking at Arsenal thinking, wow, this team are doing bits and breaking records and on this insane run without most of their forwards. So with that regard, I'm very pleased about what's to come, Yem. So let's not diminish what the club and team is doing because we are in a really good place at the moment. But what were your thoughts on the starting lineup?
No, I was happy actually. There was some rotation, but we didn't diminish it to the degree that. Look, the Brighton result was a good result, but I think if we be honest with ourselves, Brighton should have scored 2 at the start because obviously you had so many players who were brand new, didn't know each other, that they kind of lost their way. You didn't want too much rotation here because the Champions League is the Champions League. They are the elite competition. So I was pretty happy with the scale of what we had. You had Timber, who is our first choice right back, had a very good game, I thought. Gabriel Saliba forming that back 4, which you needed today because their striker, the one who started, was a beast. I mean, he was clumsy as anything, but he's a beast. It was really interesting to watch him. But Hincapié, I'm all for Hincapié starting. I think he's a really good player. I'm looking forward to seeing more minutes off him. Rice obviously didn't get a yellow card, which is a good thing this evening, but we were running the risk, but we don't have a choice really because we didn't have anything else. Norgard, seasoned professional, no problem with that. Nwaneri, I was advocating. I think he needed the minutes. Did I think he really justified the place in the game? Not really. It's a bit of a shame that he didn't really stamp his authority in the way he could have done. Saka,
Can I just ask you on that? Because I was on the way home and I was checking the sort of Twitter timeline and some messages on WhatsApp, and yeah, people weren't talking very positively about Ethan Nwaneri. I mean, what was it exactly that kind of went wrong? Was it too big an occasion for him? Did he just look off the sort of pace and tempo of things? It was, you sort of discuss it as saying he couldn't sort of lay his authority on the game, but what does it actually mean?
So with Martin Odegaard, and I know it's not a very good comparison to compare Martin Odegaard, who's played that position for years, is a seasoned international top level performer who is almost the metronome, and you're expecting Ethan Nwaneri to come in and almost replicate that. But what I would expect from Ethan is to be more involved in the game. And unfortunately today, he really was not. Got yellow carded quite early on. And then I think he faded from the game quite quickly. Didn't really do much in terms of moving the ball on or even being an attacking force. I think he got lost. And part of the reason I think that is that Slavia Prague actually were pretty physical. I think he was getting lost in that quite quickly. They were trying to bypass the midfield quite quickly. And Arsenal, I don't think necessarily were passing in the best way possible. But again, on a start, I would have thought Ethan could do better. That's, again, it's all experience. And we didn't lose the game. It's all learning experience, but I would have hoped for better for Ethan in this case. But Saka, again, Trossard, Marino, there's no complaints about that. There's not much else you can do with that. You're not going to really start Max Dowman in the game against such a physical team. Great, he came on, and we'll obviously discuss that, but you don't want to start that, a youngster against such a physical side. And they did what what we expected and what you said last night. They're a physical team who will, try and be direct. It's exactly what they did.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be very sort of forgiving for Ethan Nwaneri. A, he's a young boy. B, it's very difficult to come into a team, especially a team that's been playing so well recently, and just sort of turn it on as if you've been playing every week. So we need to give him time and room to develop. And actually, when you've got the rest of the team pulling the team through and getting the result that we need, there's actually no need to panic. While you've been talking, obviously the full-time score tonight, 3-0 away in Prague, an absurd time for a kickoff, but let's not go there anymore. These are the match stats courtesy of Scott Willis. You can see these on his timeline after every game. 3-0 winners. Expected goals over exceeded the 1.8 that we notched up, a 0.4 for Slavia Prague. They had one shot on target. Did they have one shot on target? It looks like they did. 14
What a shambles! What a shambles! Can we first look? I don't want to talk about this. Is disastrous. A shot on target for Arsenal. We honestly do not do. Where are the standards? Tetter out. That's what I've said. It's a travesty that people are getting shots on target against Arsenal. And
8 shots on target for Arsenal compared to Slavia Prague's 1. Possession-wise, we bossed it. Just edging more passes than Slavia Prague. We know our number of passes is normally so much higher. That's quite interesting. We normally sort of get into 500-600 per game. Final third entries, 32-28. So again, Slavia Prague, just like Brighton, and this might be a rotation thing, but they were getting some fortune, some favour. Of course, had a penalty appeal that was overturned late in the game. Deep touches, more than Arsenal, 31-29. But otherwise, look, 3-0. There's no point going into too many of the sort of detail. 3-0 is the headline. It's a comfortable win. It's a clean sheet. 0 complaints from me.
Oh, God, no. There's no complaints. You go away to a Champions League team. You get the victory handsomely. No injuries, no worries in terms of suspensions and all that. Job done. Get home. Get ready for the Sunderland game. That's the next one. You go on. That's what you have to do. This is what the Champions League now is. It is a rhythm. You get into the rhythm. You keep winning, and you go on. And we're doing it really well. I think the league format favors us more than than the old format, because we're a better league side. We do better over a number of games. One-off games, I think we're doing a lot better now. But this format, I think, suits us quite a lot, and that's why we're so high. That's why we were so high last season. I think we'll go better. The Bayern game is going to be an interesting one, because I think that and Inter are obviously the hardest challenges, but we've got a great chance of being in that top 3, I think.
In terms of the attacking threat chart that we can see on screen, courtesy of our partners, Opera Analyst, I mean, look, I didn't watch the game, so I can't comment, but it looks like it was fairly even dangerous moments on both sides. But again, nothing really to write home about, nothing really to get too concerned about. First and foremost, the job is done. It was comfortable in the end. And like I say, 3-0. Were there any standout moments for you, Yema? I guess not of joy, because obviously we scored 3 goals and it was good, but were there any moments of worry for you particularly?
Not overtly of any worry. I don't think there were any clear-cut chances for them particularly. Obviously, they had a 1 shot on target, but they had a very big man up front, as we talked about. What was his name? I can't remember.
Thomas Corey.
Thomas Corey. Big man who's obviously going to get some knockdowns, be a threat in terms of try to bully Gabriel, etc. That was about it. They had a few moments of getting forward, but again, I wasn't particularly worried. I don't think there was a point ever in the game where we were like, oh, they're coming on to us strong. They were energetic, but there is a marked difference in the standards between Arsenal and Slavia Prague in terms of technique, keeping the ball, and the overall standard of the team, and that showed. Look, I think the field tilt is a bit generous to Slavia. They, again, physical, throw the ball up to, they were going long ball pretty much all the time, and that was the extent of what they did. They didn't really pass it through as much as I thought. It's one of those typical, and I hate to say that, like one of the lesser teams within Europe, and you go away to them, you don't know what to expect, but are you expecting them to be passing you off the field? No, that's not what happened tonight. I don't think there's any concerns for us, but obviously it was a scrappy game, and that's fine. We get through it, and again, we've got the weapons to do that. So yeah, it's 3 goals, not a great performance, but do you really care when you get 3 points and you move on? I think that's
O'Malley's exactly come back to your point from a few moments ago. Exactly him. He says, on to the next. It's just about momentum. Keep the fixtures, keep sort of etching off the fixtures, and rotating players, protecting players, getting minutes into legs that need them. Exactly. So good to see Piero Hincapié, good to see Christian Norgard. I read again on Twitter, I didn't see the first half, so it's absurd that I'm doing a match reaction video, but you guys know and love me, I'm sure. I read on the timeline that Norgard struggled in the first 15-20 minutes, but again, it's a player who hasn't had much game time, and he's trying to build his own familiarity in this sort of setup, and actually he finished quite strong, I thought. So nothing really to worry about. Who's your man of the match?
That's hard. That's a very hard. Marino, you have to go with Marino. 2 goals, really well taken in terms of positioning and being a threat, because the first one was a really very good cross in from Trossard, and the timing of the run from Mikel Marino to not be offside and get in between the 2 defenders to get the goal. Beautiful. Second goal, completely. It's almost like the Newcastle goal where he took a chance on, I'll get in front of my man and I'll just see what happens when I head it on, and he got it perfectly. He's got an unusual, really good knack of being in the right place at the right time in regards to his headers, and that's a rare skill to have, because a lot of players struggle, even strikers struggle with, tall strikers struggle with getting the right position when they head the ball. But Mikel Marino has got a very good sense, even when he's, out, slightly out of position almost. And it was another case of that with the second goal. So really happy with it.
And look, it's difficult to not give the man of the match award to someone like Mikel Marino when you score a couple of goals. People coming back to perennial philosophaster, talking about William Saliba, because apparently he was playing quite high up and almost in that sort of pivot role. Lots of people were wondering, what's this new position that William Saliba's got?
There's a lot of rotation. There's a lot of rotation tonight in terms of players moving around the pitch. 1 minute Hincapié was in the central midfield. Next minute he was out on the wing, and then same with Timber. Timber was all over the shop today.
Oh, he's so good. Talk me through the penalty, Em. What happened? Because I missed it, and I even missed the penalty being taken.
It was no Arsenal fan will ever say we saw the penalty. We saw the incident for the penalty, because no one did. It was on VAR.
VAR really? Okay.
VAR caught it. This is one of the instances of a good VAR call in terms of, would I have cared really? No, but that VAR spotted it. So effectively, the defender went out like this with his hand out, almost in this kind of position, and the ball hit it, and no one spotted it because it was a melee during a corner. But VAR spotted it, went to the monitor, and it was a penalty because it was in an unnatural position. So, do I care? No. But if it was given against us, I would have been really aggrieved. But there you go.
Interesting. I mean, I did see the penalty shout that they had with Ben White at the end, and I thought that was the right decision, because it was, both feet were high in the air of their player and our player, but he gets the ball and it's clear as day. I also think, just for the record, while we're talking about penalties, I don't think the penalty, it was a handball at Anfield, the one that Liverpool were trying to get. Nothing he could have done. He wasn't even looking at the ball, and it happened so quick.
It's Anfield, isn't it? It always happens.
Yeah, well, they overall, it was very funny, Liverpool fans celebrating and then realising.
There's a lot of incidents. We can talk about that, but Anfield was interesting tonight, not for the game itself, but for the spiciness outside of it, if we call it.
Yeah, it was. We got the second through Mikel Marino, and as Vlad says, shout out to Trossard. It was a lovely cross and a lovely finish.
He gets G's and A's. Look, as Joe said as well, when we talk about it, on the field, he doesn't look like much, but he creates and scores goals, and that's what you kind of want. When you and I, we both are not the biggest fans of Trossard. We acknowledge that, but you can't deny it. When he plays, he causes problems, and then he gets goals and assists. That's what you want, isn't it? You can't
He
ask for
does
more.
feel much more consistent than he's ever been. Now, I don't know if that's factually true, but it feels like every game he's coming up with the goods. Every time he
Yeah, I
comes
think
on as a
so.
sub, he's making an impact. And, up until Gabby Martinelli got his injury, Martinelli was also quite the same. So there's obviously something there. He was in the press conference before the game. They asked him, why do you look so grumpy all the time? And he just says, I want to win everything, whether I'm playing at home with the kids and playing a game, whether it's, playing video games, whether it's playing football or training. I just want to win all the time. So look, he's getting his dues. It was a lovely assist, another cross from that left-hand side, and Marino just poking home. Marino's second goal. What the goalkeeper was doing, I have no idea, but it was brave of Marino to rise and get his head to it, and of course he nodded it into the net.
That's what you want. That's what you want from a striker. And you look at Victor Gyökeres as well, who takes chances and closes down the keeper. You've got to try for every ball, regardless of what happens, because these kind of things happen. That the keeper makes a mistake. It was a very amateur mistake, I will say, because he tried to obviously clasp it in his hands, missed it completely, and Marino was there, took the chance, and obviously got in front of his man. And again, good striker play. He's not a striker, but he knows when he's in the box what he has to do. So fair play to him, and goals come from everywhere. I don't care where you score the goals. They could be bangers from the outside, but I equally love the goal that he scored tonight.
Yeah, can't complain. Absolutely cannot complain. We've talked about the penalty shouts. I don't think it was a penalty for them. Lots of people coming in and talking about our penalty. It was a European penalty. Provod, his hand was high, says O'Malley. And of course, Saka dispatching it. I'm yet to see the penalty, so I need to kind of watch that back. But
keeper dived the right way, but it was too powerful a shot. Again, when Saka is a good penalty taker, he very rarely misses, and job done, isn't it?
It's absurd that the game kicks off at 5:45. Honestly, I can't get over it. Honestly,
games on Champions League games on Thursday, 5:45 kickoffs. This ain't Europe.
I don't necessarily mind the Thursday games. It's just 5:45. Like, I'm in the office. I'm in meetings. What do you want me to do?
Mate, you can't have your games. Champions League is reserved for Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Thursdays is for the lesser competitions. You know the drill, mate. Why are you accepting it?
But 5:45, man. Come on. Nathan says 16 games, 13 clean sheets. Yeah. Absolutely sensational. Alion says, tactically, we are so fluid tonight. Saliba playing in midfield is crazy. Just on the records, I mean, 122 years ago, we went on a run at Arsenal Football Club of 8 wins, 8 clean sheets on the bounce. What Mikel Arteta and this defense and the coaches are doing is special. This graphic courtesy of now_Arsenal. So in the last 8 games, 8 clean sheets, 17 goals scored, 0 conceded, 0 defeats, obviously. I don't even know what to ask him. How does it make you feel? Why do you think we're doing this? Isn't this good? Look at us. Who expected this? What can I say? The team is just unbelievable. We're so hard to play.
It's an exceptional stat to think about. I think Mikel, obviously, he always builds his team from the defense up, and that all the team are engaged in defending is a big compliment, because you can see them tracking back in the last minute, trying to make sure that nothing comes in. And you saw, when the penalty was given, each Arsenal player was looking like, what, why? Because they don't want to lose that record. And when it wasn't given, it was relief. But it's an astounding record. I think it'll be naive of Arsenal fans to keep thinking, look, don't fixate on getting clean sheets. We want clean sheets. They're great. But at some point, someone is going to score, and then then there'll be a hoo-ha, and all the piling will start from the media, etc., saying, "Oh, you conceded a goal," etc. It's just great. This Arsenal defense are a quality defense. That's the baseline. Quality defense. We will concede, but we're not going to concede. We're going to be probably the best defense in Europe. That's the bottom line, effectively, for me.
Another record that we actually broke tonight was Max Dowman, the youngest player to play in Champions League history. He's up there with you, Lamine Yamal, at 16 years and 68 days. and he's up there with where's my graphic gone?
Yusufa
Yusufa
Moukoko.
Mukoko of what, Dortmund? 16
No,
years
he's
and
he's
18
gone
days.
from Dortmund. I think he's gone from
Has he?
Dortmund now. Yeah, he's gone.
And or maybe he made his debut when he was at Dortmund.
Yeah.
Max Dowman, 15 years old, 308
He's back to school
days.
tomorrow, isn't it? He's back to school tomorrow, isn't he?
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Oh no,
I'm not. I don't even care about his performance. But what this kid is doing to be playing for Arsenal Football Club at 15 years of age, like in a men's game, is
and not look out of
frankly
place, and not
ridiculous.
look out of place as well. He's not looking out of place either. I mean, when he came on tonight, had a few good moves, few good touches. It was a good sub performance. The thing is that if it was unwarranted, I think you would be criticizing, saying, "Oh, Mikel, why are you putting him on? Are you just doing it for the sake of it?" But it wasn't. He's a good player. When he comes on, he provides a threat. He provides something different, and that's the scary thing. That you've got a 15-year-old who's providing you an option. It's great for him, his development, his family to, start a Champions League game and be recognized for the talent he is. Now, what it's about is obviously him improving. We can see, look, Max Dowman is a phenomenal talent, but there are areas that he needs to develop. So hopefully for him, he's like, this is great, but I want more, which is what he's done in the past already. So I'm expecting him to, kick on and, really, really accelerate his game. I think it's a great, where he could go is very scary, and I'm glad he's with us.
Yeah, massively. And listen, the type of player that he is, the ball sticks to his feet like glue. The way that he sort of just glides with the ball so almost effortlessly, like a skier slaloming in between the flagpoles, and ball manipulation, entries into the box. 786 Kaza says Max is like a foul magnet. First action is taking someone on, winning a foul. More set pieces for us, which is great. Nathan says 2 defenders to stop him. O'Malley says once Max learns how to ride tackles, he might be unstoppable 1v1. I mean, 15 years of age, what we're seeing is absolutely sensational, and I don't know what this boy's ceiling is. I don't want to think about it because it could be quite absurd, really. So there we are. Bayern Munich are top of the league standings. We are second, purely on goals scored. We play Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz sent off for them, which means that he will miss the game.
Did you see the tackle? Did you see the tackle?
I haven't seen it.
It was a disgusting tackle.
Oh, was it? It doesn't surprise me. He's got a little bit of needle about him, Luis Diaz. I'm actually quite pleased. And
he scored 2 tonight as well, so it's good that he's not playing.
I got to also shout out Harry Mananous, who played, another Hale End boy coming on and just living our dream. I mean,
he looked good, actually. I thought he looked really good. I thought he actually looked really good in terms of at the Brighton game. He looked slightly uncomfortable because obviously he'd just been told he's been making his debut. This time he looked much more comfortable, stronger, assured, and I liked it. I think he's got again, give him some more minutes, because I think there's something about him. I just feel there's something about him in terms of he could be a decent player for us.
Well, Kaza says Tim would have locked him up anyway. There we are. Right, I think we're going to leave it there because I didn't see the first half. There's not really much else to say. I'll be back tomorrow with some sort of a special show. But if you are a Patreon member, thank you so much for supporting the channel. There is a North London Derby ticket giveaway in the Patreon chat. All you have to be is a member. I recognise many of you support the channel from overseas. If you can't make the game or don't want to make the game for whatever reason, I will reimburse you with some vouchers to arsenal.com to spend on yourself or some loved ones. And the fact that I have now reached 100 Patreon members, we will also give away a named shirt of one's choice. And again, nothing that person has to do, just be a Patreon member, and I will sort that out over the coming weeks. I do have an admission. I'm in Birmingham Thursday and Friday for work for a conference. So tomorrow night will be some sort of a show, and then we'll probably be back late Friday night with a late night lounge, looking ahead to Sunderland on Saturday. Granit Xhaka's Sunderland.
The Granit Xhaka derby.
Mate,
are we going to...
Don't.
You're literally loving it.
I'm not ready.
You're not ready.
I'm not ready. The heartstrings are going to pull. It's going to be a weird day. But he is on fire at the moment, and he deserves all the credit. It still frustrates me that we let him go, because if you think about in the last 2 years, we definitely won the title by now. He's so good. We always knew that his game wasn't dependent on speed and dynamism, and I just think, we dicked about with Kai Havertz in that left day, and then we brought in Marino, who's been fantastic for a different reason. I just think Xhaka, Rice, Partey obviously back then, Xhaka, Rice, Super Mendy, Xhaka, Rice, Odegaard. Oh, bloody da.
Look, as long as this Saturday he doesn't do anything, I'll be happy.
I hope so. I hope so. No, Kai, that's not going to happen. Imagine FK comes back with a Brum accent. Lord, it's not going to happen. I can't do it. I can't even do
All
it. You're in
all right,
15 years.
all right, Star.
That's not Brum, mate.
That's Brum. That's.
Hey,
I lived it. Remember, I lived in the West Midlands during uni.
Yeah, that's terrible. Hassa says, you guys in this channel is pure gold. Thank you. I've been getting a lot of nice messages in YouTube on the comments on the videos. Thank you so much for all of the heartfelt messages. It really is so gratefully received. And thank you to all of our channel members, Patreon members, and everyone just making time to listen in to me and on tonight's occasion to Yembele. If anybody wants to follow Yem, he is available at Verge59. Where are our names gone?
Yeah,
What's going on, Jeff?
You know what, StreamYard is having a mare lately.
I don't know. What is? Hang on a second. Show display name, is that the one? There you go. They've done a reset, and I don't know what's happening to people's handles either.
I think this is. I think this is an
used to be
anti-spam
Donald.
thing.
He says we're literally such a wall that it's impossible to score against. I think it was Donald. I recognise the.
They've done this as an anti-spam thing, like because you got people coming in with false names, etc. Like, do you remember we had Charles Watts in at one point? And do you remember the fake Charles Watts?
But who cares? It's just I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, here's what it is. If anybody wants to follow Yembele, he is available at Verge59. We'll be back tomorrow with some sort of a show. Like I say, gap on Thursday, unfortunately. Sorry, YouTube algorithm. And then Friday, Late Night Lounge to look ahead to the Sunderland game. What a joy that might be. If I get time, I might even do a Sunderland preview and release that on a Thursday. Ooh. Right, look after yourself, sleep well, and enjoy tomorrow's fixtures. We'll be back tomorrow night. What can I say? Arsenal just motoring on. 10 wins on the bounce. 8 clean sheets. And on to Sunderland we go. Bye for now.